the church, we want to dance, and I'll be dancing myself.
Born William Michael Albert Broad on November 30, 1955 in Middlesex, England, he relocated with his family for a brief spell to New York before returning to England. After a stint at Sussex University only lasted a year, Broad found himself part of a group of teen punk rockers who befriended and followed the Sex Pistols, informally known as the Bromley Contingent. It wasn't long before Broad realized that he too could be the frontman of a punk band, and assumed the name Billy Idol shortly thereafter. After a stint playing guitar in a group called Chelsea, Idol put down the guitar and picked up the mic. He then recruited bassist Tony James, drummer John Towe, and guitarist Bob Andrews to form Generation X in 1976. Named after a 1960s paperback, the band signed a recording contract with Chrysalis shortly thereafter and released the anthemic Your Generation late in 1977. An appearance on Top of the Pops helped propel the single and their 1978 self-titled debut into the spotlight. The latter was produced by Martin Rushent. The band released two more LPs, Valley of the Dolls in 1979 and Kiss Me Deadly 2 years later before splitting up. Disappointed with Generation X's demise, Idol relocated to New York City, where he pursued a career as a solo artist. Hooking up with Kiss manager Bill Aucoin, Idol issued the 1981 EP Don't Stop, which helped the singer score another record deal with his former band's label Chrysalis. Idol found the perfect collaborator and partner in guitarist and Johnny Thunders lookalike Steve Stevens, and issued a self-titled debut in July of 1982. A pair of eye-catching videos for the tracks White Wedding and Dancing with Myself scored major airtime on MTV, with both clips focusing on Idol's spiky, peroxide blonde hair and Elvis-like sneer. The debut eventually obtained gold certification and set the stage perfectly for Idol's big commercial breakthrough, 1984's Rebel Yell. Rebel Yell became the best-selling album of his career, spawning such big-time MTV and radio hits as the album's anthemic titled track Eyes Without a Face and Flesh for Fantasy, establishing Idol as an arena headliner stateside. But with massive success came its many distractions, which prevented Idol from issuing a new studio album until 3 years after Rebel Yell. 1987's Whiplash Smile was another sizable hit on the strength of such hits as To Be a Lover and Sweet 16, but failed to live up to the lofty expectations set by his previous releases. Stevens jumped ship shortly thereafter to launch his own band, Steve Stevens Atomic Playboys. He was also eventually a member of Mötley Crüe singer Vince Neil's solo band, leaving Idol to fend for himself. An 8-track best of set Vital Idol was issued later the same year, spawning one of the year's most heavily played MTV videos, a live version of the previously recorded cover of Moni Moni, which helped keep Idol in the spotlight. He spent the next few years working on his fourth studio release, but reappeared in the summer of 1989 as part of an all-star rendition of The Who's Tommy, with Idol playing the role of the sadistic character Cousin Kevin. Around the time of Idol's next release, 1990's Charmed Life, the singer was involved in a serious motorcycle accident, was another smash hit, making Charmed Life the fourth Idol album in a row to achieve at least reach platinum sales. Expectedly several years passed before the release of Idol's next album, during which time he tried his hand at acting with a bit part in Oliver Stone's motion picture The Doors. By the time 1993's Cyberpunk surfaced, Idol had dropped his spiky peroxide hairstyle in place of dreadlocks and experimented with techno beats. The move proved to be an unwise one, as the album tanked and sank from the charts. At the same time, Idol was knee-deep in drug addiction, resulting in another close brush with death when he overdosed and had to be treated in a Los Angeles hospital in 1994. Not much was heard from him until 1998. When he made a cameo appearance in the hit Adam Sandler or Drew Barrymore comedy The Wedding Singer, which resulted in renewed interest. Idol teamed up once again with Stevens, was the subject of a VH1 Behind the Music special, and issued a more extensive greatest hits set in 2001, the latter of which sold 500,000 copies in the US alone. Next up was his first studio album since cyberpunk Devil's Playground, released on Sanctuary in 2005, and this was swiftly followed by the seasonal Happy Holidays, for which he retained Brian Tichy and Derek Sherinian from the previous album sessions. 2008 brought the very best of Billy Idol Idolize Yourself, which was notable for including 2 previously unreleased tracks, John Wayne and New Future Weapon. A worldwide tour on the same bill as Def Leppard ensued before 2009 brought in Super Overdrive Live, a video release of a performance in Chicago. Idol appeared at Donington Park's Download Festival in 2010. A relatively quiet spell in his career was followed by a period of songwriting with Stevens and Circus Diablo frontman Billy Morrison. In time, recording sessions took place, which led to the announcement of a 7th studio album of original material, produced by Trevor Horn and preceded by Idol's New York Times best-selling memoir Dancing with Myself. Kings and Queens of the Underground appeared in October 2014. In 2020, Idol teamed up with Miley Cyrus for the song Night Crawling, which appeared on her Plastic Hearts LP, and in 2021 he released his first new song in 7 years, The Pensive Bitter Taste, which served as the lead single from the 4-track EP Roadside. He continued working with the EP format on 2022's Rousing the Cage.